Chapter 1. The Concept of a Woman. I believe that part of the problem in our society today is that we have a very askew concept of a woman, what she's capable of, what she's responsible for, and even the value God places in her. To be truthful, if we go to the Bible, we will see that the public view of women has shifted over the centuries. To look at some of the BC versions of men's view of women, some might get the impression that women were more or less insignificant, other than their ability to birth children and take care of the home. Women were supposed to sit in the back and be quiet while men sat and ruled the world. The research will tell you that when couples went to synagogue, the women would sit in the back and tend to the children, while the men sat at the feet of the rabbi to receive the word and then give the word to their family when they got home. If we look at the modern church, it is clear that women are no longer just sitting in the back and taking care of the children, but rather they are now the front runners of the church. They are the ones in the pulpits preaching and teaching. They are the ones prophesying and laying hands. They are the ones who participate in philanthropy. They're running businesses, becoming CEOs, and are major owners. My, how life has changed for women. You would think that with women doing these things so effectively, perhaps it's because the concept of a woman has somehow changed. It truly hasn't. Here's what I mean. While according to the culture of the age, women were relegated to being nothing more than a helpmeet. That was their main value, with the exception of a few seemingly phenomenal women. However, the pantheon of time has shown women to have far more value and potential than what many men have given them credit for. Let us consider that it was a woman who first carried the word in the personage of Mary. Also, the man who was to herald the message of Jesus coming to save the world was born of Mary's cousin, Elizabeth. There was also a prophetess that blessed Jesus when he was just a babe. When we look further into Scripture, we see women like Deborah, who was a judge of Israel for a time. It was even a woman named Jael who killed the mighty army leader Sisera instead of Barak, that gave the Israelites victory over their enemies. See Judges 4:21. Women have had major and pivotal roles in society since the very beginning. The problem is that through the culture, women were not looked at as being just as important as the man. And because women were oftentimes content with the role they played, it was often difficult to see the potential that the woman possessed. Women wore it as a badge of honor to do what they were conditioned to do as a woman, and oftentimes didn't reach beyond that. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been in such a male-driven society to really stand out in a way that men had to take notice of. Yet women have found opportunities to stand out and continue to make opportunities to stand out even greater today. When we look at creation in Genesis 2:18, it lets us know that it is not good for man to be alone. God decided to make the man a helpmeet. Further, it describes the process by which God created a woman and then tells us how she got the designation woman, because she came from the man. Now, ladies, I know that for some of you, this might be a bitter pill to swallow. The truth of the matter is, yes, you came first from a man. I need you to understand this. For many men, if not all men, while he might be a whole man, he is never truly complete until he has that woman that God made specifically for him. He needs his rib to be completed. That's why some men call their wives their better half or the other half. Yes, he may be all man by himself, full of pride, maybe a little arrogance, perhaps a little rough around the edges, but once he comes in connection with that soft, gentle, warm, and loving side of himself that comes from a woman, he then becomes complete and can truly enjoy a sense of self that couldn't come until she entered into his life, just the way God intended. Her place in his life gives him permission to explore his softer side, because his woman is right there to appreciate his manly nature, even when he's showing a softer, more compassionate side.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.